Hi, I'm Clara. I'm an acupuncture student and a knitter, lover of all things healing needles. I live in Richmond, Virginia, and I just started knitting in February of this year, so I wanted to document my journey here. Today, we're going to be going through my yarn stash because now I have a yarn stash, which is kind of wild. It was pretty under control, and then a couple weeks ago, if you saw my last video, you'll know I went on Facebook Marketplace and there was a really good de-stash that I just could not pass up, and so I got way more yarns than I ever, expected to buy, all at once, and so now I have a bit of a stash. So I'm going to go through everything that I've got and pair it with some patterns that I'm planning to use them for. I usually am a very project oriented yarn buyer. So this was the first time I really bought yarn with no plan in mind. And so it was kind of important to me to like actually figure out what I'm going to do with all of this stuff. Yeah, that's just the way that my brain works. And so I like having a project per each skein of yarn. So I think I'll start with the larger quantities first and then go from there into like more of the single skeins at the end. So to start off with, I've got this like box. This was a box of mints from my job. And then we ran out and I was like, that box is kind of nice. I don't really want to just throw it away. Why don't I take it home and see if I can fit some yarn into it? Or like maybe like scrap fabrics and stuff. And so, hey, reduce, reuse, recycle. Am I right? Okay, so this is Cascade 220. I've got the color Japanese Maple and Natural. And I love the, ooh. And now they smell like mints, which is pretty cool. I love these colors, especially this Japanese Maple. I think I'm probably eventually I would love to get more of this color and make other things with it once I go through my stash though. So that'll probably be, a couple years down the line, but I'm like very much in love with this color. So I've got 3 skeins of each, which should be enough for the Alma sweater. Actually, it should be more than enough. So anyways, the Alma sweater is a really beautiful striped sweater by Leah at Kiss Kiss Rhinestones. And I know that there's like tons of, striped sweater patterns out there, but this particular one I really love. Like, I really like the way that the stripes are incorporated into the collar and into the cuffs and the hems as well. I just think for me, like when the collar is a single color, it's usually the darker of the 2 colors. It's just a little like sporty in a way that like I don't love on myself. So anyways, when I saw that pattern, I was like, oh, finally a striped sweater that I can really, really get behind like for myself. So yeah, and I think that one is also a raglan. So I'm hoping to cast this on probably soon. I just finished this like massive project that was knit flat for my partner for their birthday, and it was just like so much back and forth, so much knitting flat, so much purling, which I don't super mind purling, but I would really love to have something just in the round. And I think this will be a really fun project. Like not only is it in the round, but then we've got like some colors. And also right now it's August. And so I think if I start on this one soon, I should have it done by the time fall rolls around so then I can actually wear it then. So anyways, yeah. Again, love these colors and I'm really excited to make this sweater. Okay, next I've got 7 skeins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 skeins of the Knitting for Olive Merino. So this is the fingering weight and I am going to hold it double. And then unfortunately my cats got to this yarn, so it looks a hot mess, but just look at these colors together. I think it's going to be really beautiful. So my current plan is to make the petite knit novice slip over, which I think I'm going to have to do a little bit of gauge math for, because this is going to be a DK weight, whatever. I don't mind doing the gauge math. should be fine. But I want to make that slip over, except I'm going to add some like a custom color work chart. I found this iris color work chart, and then I added like a little ornate frame around it. I'll put, you know, a photo of the chart that I'm talking about here. I just popped that into Stitch Fiddle, and I think it would be really pretty to have the like white design be with this like color variegating like pink and yellow kind of thing. I think it'd be really cute. I would have to split the patterns so that I'm just knitting the front and the back as flat panels and then seam it up at the end. So again, like I'm looking for a pattern to do in the round right now. So I probably will get to this like a little bit later, or maybe next spring would be nice. Just cause like, I mean, look at these colors. It's so spring. It's so cute. My only concern is that like, I don't really know how oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot to say what this is actually. This is the Fellowsheep Yarns, Merino, Superwash Merino, and it is in the color Autumn Field. I got it at the Ren Fair here in Richmond. So good memories about this yarn. But anyways, as I was saying, my only concern is that like, I don't actually know how the design is going to work up with the color changes. Like, I feel like there's not going to be enough like stitches in the design for the color change to really like come through properly. I don't know. Yeah, so I think I'll probably do like a smaller gauge swatch just with a part of the design to like see if it is going to work out the way that I want it to, and then go from there. But yeah, I just need to find a way to get these colors to work together, or these yarns to work together, because I'm like very attached to how this looks as a combination. So hopefully my plan will work out. If not, I will have to recalibrate, but we will see. All right, I talked about this in my previous podcast episode, but I do have the Anchor Bay by Cascade yarns. This is the Ibis Rose Color and Celery, and I'm going to be making the pressed flowers kerchief for my mom. I think these are going to be really cute, and I think my mom will really like the colors, and hopefully she'll be impressed. She loves a little neckerchief or scarf. She likes to hide her neck wrinkles or whatever. So yeah, she loves those, and so I figured that would be a perfect gift. This is probably going to be her Christmas gift, so I'm not super pressed to work on it anytime soon. Okay, this is also yarn that my cats kind of got into, so it's the Dale Alpakka Forte yarn, and it is 80% alpaca, 20% nylon, and this is actually like the first yarn that I ever bought at the beginning of the year. This is from when I was crocheting. So I bought this to make this crocheted Sophie hood, and as you can tell, it's really really long. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really understand the purpose of gauge swatching at that time, and I think especially in the crochet community, gauge swatching is like not as much of a thing. But anyways, didn't really understand gauge swatch, and I also did not understand alpaca yarn, and now that I'm a little bit more, you know, knowledgeable about this stuff, everyone is like, oh yeah, alpaca blocks out like crazy, and I'm like, oh, wish I would have known that, because I have like a before and after video that I'll probably put in here, but when I first finished this, it was like the perfect amount to like tie around, and it just, you know, the cute little tie in the front, and then after blocking, it literally grew, I would say 10 to 12 inches. And so I would do the whole wrap it around, tie it in a little knot, and it would go down to like here. And that's not honestly too much of an issue. However, there's just some other mistakes that I made. Like, I was like increasing by accident at one point that I wasn't supposed to. And so there's just like, it's a little lopsided and whatever. And I just like don't love the finished object. I love that this is like the first one of the first things I ever made, and so I like having it for keepsake, but I actually think I'm gonna unravel it. So then all together, I have 5 of these, like 5 balls of this yarn worth, which you might not think is that much, but I really feel like with the way that this alpaca yarn stretches out, I can get a cumulus blouse out of this by Petite Knit. I really feel like I can just knit it at a pretty loose gauge. Because I mean, if I got this much out of a crocheted thing, like, you know how crochet eats up like way more yarn than knitting, like this can wrap around my body already, and like, you know, and then like I think this will be, I don't know, I just think this will be enough. I'm really convinced. I'll probably, you know, do a gauge swatch and really try to calculate if I have enough yarn, but I do think, I am convinced it will be enough. If it's not enough for the cumulus blouse, I'll probably do a vest or something with this, and it would be also very cute. But I really, really think if I just knit it super loosely, like it'll be fine, because this is knit on, or this was crocheted on a 4.5mm crochet hook, and this is a sport weight yarn. Like it recommends a much smaller hook or needle, but knowing that this crocheted up really nicely at a 4.5, I'm like, I feel like I can just throw it on a bigger needle and be fine, but I don't know. Obviously we'll see. But yeah, that is my plan for this at the moment. I think I can squeeze out a cumulus blouse, and I think it would be so nice. I love this yarn. I think I was very spoiled when buying this, just especially because this is like my first wearable thing that I ever made, and it was alpaca. And so then when I felt like an actual wool yarn for the first time, I was like, what is this? Like, I was used to how soft the alpaca was. It's also super, super warm. So that is another reason why I'm like, maybe I'll just make a vest out of it. I don't know. Because like a cumulus blouse made out of all alpaca living in Richmond, Virginia, I don't actually know how much wear I'll be able to get out of that, just because it is going to be quite warm. So I don't know. We'll see, but those are my options right now. Okay, next I have like so much of this yarn. This is what it looks like. It was unraveled from an LL Bean cabled sweater, and it was like a medium to large size. So yeah, as you can tell, I got a lot of yarn out of that sweater, which was really nice. I think it's 80% lamb's wool and then 20% nylon, and it's kind of hard to see, but there are little flecks of like tweedy, like brown to coppery tweedy bits in there. Super, super beautiful yarn. And I actually originally started this crocheted cardigan, and this is how far I got. I don't know. Here, I'll hold it up, but I don't know if you can tell, but the way that the yarn is like this like dual colored combo. I don't really know honestly what to call it, but it's like a 2-colored yarn, and the way that it was working up with crochet just was not doing it for me. I tried, oh my god, I tried like every crochet stitch under the sun to try to find the best stitch for this kind of yarn, and this is the best I could do, but it still looks just so busy to me. So actually, funny enough, this is the project that got me into knitting, because I was like, oh my god, like I have all of this yarn and just none of these crochet stitches are like doing it. And so then I was like, shoot, I think I have to knit. I think I have to knit with this yarn, and then it'll be better. And honestly, it is. I did a gauge swatch. I'm not gonna like take that down right now. I'll insert a clip, but I did a gauge swatch, and it did turn out way better. Like I feel like it just looks so much neater and cleaner, and like everything just looks more uniform and less messy. So I am going to unravel this guy, and then my plan is to make the collar cardigan by Les Filles de Coeur. I don't know. I'm so sorry. It's like French. Anyways, it's this collared cardigan that is so cute, and it matches the gauge pretty spot on for, I knit my gauge swatch in 6mm needles. And yeah, I think it'll just be like a really nice, like, you know, it's kind of like a more, I don't know if rustic is really the word, because it is quite dry on your hands when you knit it up, but then once you block the swatch, it's actually relatively soft, but I feel like it just gives like rusticy, more outdoor vibes. So I think it would be perfect for an outerwear piece. So yeah, that'll be a nice like cardigan slash jacket for the fall and winter. And then honestly, I feel like I'm even gonna have some left over, so maybe I'll make a little beanie out of it. That'll be really cute, but we'll get there when we get there. Okay, next up we've got 14 skeins of this Nashua Creative Focus cotton. I don't know what color this is necessarily, it just gives me a number, but it's this kind of sagey green, and it's a mercerized cotton. It is, I don't know. Yeah, I think this is a chainette structure. So it's a little bit ropey to knit up, but it's not too bad. I did do a gauge swatch, and I was afraid that it was gonna look ropey in like the finished fabric, but it does kind of like blossom a little bit in blocking, and the shininess kind of chills out. So I did actually like the resulting gauge swatch, which I do have here. It definitely softens up as well, like the actual fabric softens up. So current plan for this is to make the cloud sweater or cloud blouse. I can't remember like what the difference is between the two, but whatever. I'm gonna make that, and I'm gonna make it in this cotton, so it'll be like a nice summer sweater. I've seen a lot of people actually make, or recently, I guess just because it's summer, I've been seeing it on my feeds, but I've seen a lot of people talking about making the cloud sweater in cotton and how it's really nice for like summer nights and stuff. So right now I'm kind of in between casting on that first, the Cascade 220 Alma sweater or this next. We'll see, only because the project I just finished for my partner was also all in cotton, which it wasn't too bad. Like, I don't find it terribly hard on my hands, but yeah, I think I'm gonna take a little bit of a break and then see like which one I'm more gravitating towards, also because I feel like this is gonna take me like a little minute. I've never made a sweater before, and so I'm just like, I feel like I'm gonna finish this in like September, October, and then it's already gonna be too cold to wear it, and so that's why I'm kind of leaning towards the Alma sweater. But anyways, we'll see. But I will eventually make a cloud sweater out of this, and I think it'll be really cute. And this color is also really nice on my partner, and so it'd be nice to be able to share. All right, we've got some 100% wool. This is a worsted weight wool, and I believe it's from Charity Hill Farms. I don't think they make this particular yarn anymore, but it is this really, really beautiful blue color. It's got a little bit of a mixture of like blue and white. It kind of reminds me of a little cloud, and it's just gorgeous. So I've got, I think, like 300 or so grams of this, and so I'm planning to make the vest Barcelona by Mochi Knits. I love that pattern. It took me like far too long to find this pattern. I was really looking for, I really just love a deep v-neck. I don't know why it's so hard to find, especially like in knitting patterns. I feel like the v-neck is always like here, and I'm like, that's not enough. Like, I love the v-neck to be like down to basically my xiphoid process. Like, I love it to just way down there. So yeah, this is the one vest that I found that really had like a nice deep V, and so I'm really excited about it. And I think also if that vest goes well and I really like it, I don't think it should be too hard to like add sleeves to. So maybe that would be a nice pattern to like, save in the back of my brain for like down the line when I want to make a V-neck sweater. I can just add some sleeves to there. Because it's also a little bit difficult to find a deep enough V-neck sweater as well. I guess I'm just like the only knitter out there that really likes a deep V. So anyways, yes, really grateful for this pattern for actually having a pretty deep V. And I think it looks just so good with like the white shirt underneath. It's very like, I don't know, I feel like the pattern photo is giving very like bisexual vibes. And that's just what I love. And so anyways, yeah, really excited to make this one. I think it's gonna be so cute. Okay, next up is all of this Malabrigo worsted. There are 7 skeins, which is quite a lot because each skein is 100 grams. So I've just got a wild amount of this yarn. This was also from the Facebook Marketplace D-Stash. And yeah, I'm really excited. I think this yarn is so nice and soft, and so I'm really, really excited to knit with this. So I'm either gonna make the mono boxy cardigan or the sweater number 6 by My Favorite Things with this. So while I think this yarn is so beautiful, so strawberry chocolate, I did look up on Ravelry. I looked at the projects for this yarn in this particular colorway to see how it works up, and I do think it's beautiful. I do think it's a little bit busy for my liking, like the way that the colors change. It's just a bit more like variegated than I thought, and so it just makes the overall look a bit busy. So I picked up this Drops Alpaca silk in this chocolate, I think it's chocolate color is the name of it. So I'm hoping that pairing these together will kind of dull the busyness of the yarn when it's worked up. So I'm gonna do a gauge swatch probably later today just to see if that actually works and see if I like the fabric that it comes up with. I've never like really knit with any mohair or anything, and I had actually picked up 2 other Drops like fluffy yarns. I did pick up the kids silk just to try it out. I know a lot of people say that it's really itchy, and so I was like, so far it depends on what body part it's on whether I think it's itchy or not. I did do a gauge swatch with a different yarn, but anyways, I just wanted to try them out and see which one I liked best, and then I'll probably go ahead and invest in like a sweater quantity in a brown color of whichever one that I enjoy the most. Anyways, I'll talk about those later, but hopefully that works. But with that being said, this is a worsted weight yarn, and then paired with either an alpaca or a mohair is just going to, I think, make it pretty warm, So I'm trying to figure out whether I would want to do a sweater or a cardigan. I do think the cardigan I would get the most wear out of, but I have a cardigan on the needles right now. I have another plan for a cardigan, then I have this, and I'm just like, that's a lot of cardigans. And so like I know I would get the most wear out of cardigans. I think it's the most practical because I can really wear them all year round, but I'm also like, knitting sweaters is really fun. I think really that Alma sweater and the Cloud sweater are the only ones that I have planned right now. Oh, the Cumulus blouse, maybe if that works out too. Okay, so not too bad, not too bad. But anyways, I'm just trying to figure out whether this would be too warm. We did have a pretty cold winter this past year, but I think everyone had like a really weird winter, at least like in the US. And so the thing is, I just moved to Richmond, Virginia about a year and a half ago, And so that was the only winter that I experienced here. It was a very abnormal winter, but from what people tell me, it's usually very, very mild. Like it barely even snows, and if it does, it doesn't really stick. I grew up in Connecticut. That was very, very cold. And then I lived in Chicago, which was also very cold. And then I lived in Las Vegas for like 7 years, which was extremely hot all the time. And now I'm here. And so I haven't really experienced proper seasons in like 7 years. And then I haven't had a normal winter in Richmond yet. And so I think I'll probably wait on deciding what I want to make with this, whether it'll be a cardigan or a sweater, until I've gone through one more winter here. Just because like I don't have a full understanding of like how cold it normally gets yet. And that is making it really hard to like figure out what I should be knitting. Or I mean, I know a lot of people just like don't care and they just like, whatever, I'm gonna knit a wool sweater, and it sucks that I can only wear it in the winter, but like I love to knit wool sweaters, and so that's what I'm gonna do. So maybe I need to stop thinking about it too hard and just like knit the sweater. But yeah, anyways, that was a long little rant about weather, but basically I'm very conflicted on what to make with this. But I think first step is to even see if this is going to help with the busyness of these colors and see if I like the fabric, and then I can kind of go from there. We'll see. Okay, next up we have 9, I think, skeins of this Anny Blatt number 5 in the color Rouge. Beautiful, super bright red. I'm really, really excited. I love a bright red, especially I think on me is really cute, and it's one of those like more bold statement colors that I'm really comfortable with already, but I actually don't really have in my wardrobe, so I'm really excited to knit something up with this. And I believe this is a worsted weight yarn, and so I'm planning on knitting up the Korsvika jacket by Knits by Pia. That pattern doesn't have many projects on it or anything yet, but like I read through the whole description, and honestly, big props to the designer, because she gives you like the specs for like multiple different gauges, which is so nice. Like I think there was like a 14, 15, 16 stitch gauge, and so I was just like, wow, like that, I feel like this is just going above and beyond for like a pattern designer. Like that's so nice of them to put in there. But it's a very like simple, boxy, oversized cardigan. If you couldn't tell, I really like those. And I've got, as I said, 9 skeins of this. It is 100% superwash merino wool, and it is discontinued, and so I started like panicking a little bit that I wouldn't have enough yarn to make the full thing. And so I got this Cascade 220 superwash, and so I'm going to use this for a colorwork chart on the back is the current plan. It's going to say heaven. I will put the chart right here. I think it'll look really cool, really cute. And I originally had it inverted, so the purple was going to be the letters, but then I figured doing it the other way around, where the purple was like the background and the red was the letters, would have the purple kind of eat up a little bit more of the yardage needed for the cardigan, so that I don't really have to worry about like if I have enough of the red to get me through the project, because like that would just really, really stress me out. So I think this is a really good plan. I'm really excited. I'm excited to have this design on like a wearable piece of clothing that's like external, because I have this tattooed on the back of my head. So I shaved my head. I have like little stars and stuff all around here, and then on the back it says heaven in this exact design, and I love that. But like obviously I'm growing out my hair right now, and so I can't see it, and regardless, even when I do have my head shaved, like I've only seen it in pictures, you know, because I can't see the back of my head. And so I do love the design, and so I'm really excited to like have it on an actual article of clothing or like something that's like not on me so that I can look at it and like appreciate it, for what it is. So yeah, that'll be really, really nice. And I think these colors are going to be so cute together. Next up, we have 3 skeins of the Lion brand Wool Ease Roving Origins. So this is also from the Facebook Marketplace D-Stash. Again, my cat started getting into it, so sorry. But she said that she was originally planning on doing the sailor slippers with these, which I do think would be really fun, really cute. However, I'm kind of like, this is a good amount of yarn. And I feel like I can honestly get a sweater out of it, if not most of a sweater. And then since the actual yarn, like to buy it new, isn't crazy expensive and it's not discontinued or anything, if I need more, I can just go out to the store and get some more. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to make like the lakes pullover with it. Call me crazy because like people have really mixed, really strong opinions about using unspun wool for garments that are like not being felted. Some people love it, some people hate it. I mean, there's like the Lopi or whatever. I know that yarn is very popular for like a lot of sweaters and like colorwork stuff. So I mean, I don't think it would be crazy to make an actual garment with this. I've heard a lot of things about the pilling, however, which I don't know. I don't think is the worst thing in the world, but I've also heard that holding it with a mohair helps with the pilling a little bit and helps with just like the strength overall of the yarn going forward. And so I know that the Drops Kid Silk Mohair is like the most affordable mohair on the market, so that's why I kind of just got it as like a tester to see if I even like mohair, and then do I find it comfortable? Do I find it itchy? Like I know a lot of people find Drops mohair itchy, and so I was like, maybe I should just get the Knitting for Olive Kid Silk. But then I was like, well, I might as well try the Drops one first, because if I don't find it itchy and I do find it comfortable, like I can save a lot of money. And so far, I don't think it's too bad. So from that same D-Stash, I also got the same brand, the Lion brand, Wool Ease Roving Origins, such a long name, but I got 1 skein of the Mulberry and then 1 of the olive color. And if you can tell, very Christmassy. So I think this would be a really nice gift, not gift yarn, but like yarn to make gifts with. I think I can make like cute little felted ornaments or something like that. That would be really cute and like relatively simple. So yeah, we'll see. I don't have like super specific plans for these, but something felted, something Christmassy down the line. We have time to think about that later. So yeah. Okay, next up I have the Valley Yarns Granville. This is a 90% cotton, I think Pima cotton. Yeah, 10% merino. And I just finished the French Twist scarf by Cara in the City with this yarn. It's in the color Kelp, and I really enjoyed this yarn. I think it's really, really soft, and I also love the color. I think it's so cute. And then I also have this Lily soft spun cotton in the kind of natural cream beige color. I guess not beige, I would call it cream. And I got this at a local thrift store. I think I had 1 or 2 just like very, very small skeins of this. And it is really nice and soft. And so I think I'm going to make, well, okay. So I know that I will be able to make a triangle scarf with this, and I think I would just stripe them. It would be really cute together. But also, I was like, maybe I can squeeze like a Nina top out of it. It's the Nina top 2, the one that has stripes and it kind of goes off to the side and it has a halter. Yeah, we'll see if I have enough for that. I'm thinking like, technically, like if you look at the pattern, I don't think I have enough, but I'm like, maybe if I knit it on slightly bigger needles so it's not as dense of a fabric, like maybe I could have enough. I also have knit the Summer Secret top in a sport weight, and that used just about 100 grams. And so I'm like, I think I could squeeze out, you know, like those are similar silhouettes and a similar like amount of fabric. And so I think I would definitely be able to get a top out of this. The issue is honestly I just haven't been knitting long enough to like know. But I'm 85 to 90% sure I can get a cute little summer top out of this. So we will see how that goes for me. I hope it all goes well. Also, similar vein, I have this Lindehobby Cotton 8/8, and this is the Lion brand Coboo in the color Vanilla Cream. These are kind of leftovers that I have from previous projects. And same thing, I think if I stripe them, I should have enough for a summer top. Maybe not like as is, but here's the thing also. I don't know where it is right now, but the first thing I ever knit was a two-tone brioche beanie by Pearl Soho in these yarns. And yes, that was a very, very, very ambitious first project. I cried a couple times while starting it and figuring out brioche. Really would not recommend to anyone else to do that as your first knit project. Very stressful. But I made it out of these two yarns, and I did not do the best gauge swatch. I probably should have sized down my needles. Like all of these things, like I really should have picked a different project for my first knitting project, but I didn't. So anyways, I have that beanie somewhere. And because it's knit out of 100% cotton, and also because my gauge swatch was not great, and also because I don't think I know how to measure my head correctly, it's just a little bit big. Yeah, like I think in a beanie, especially if it's like the brioche stitch, which is basically kind of ribbed, I think I should have had some negative ease, and I didn't. I was very afraid of it not being able to fit on my head because I feel like I have a big head. Like, I don't know. I just have always been like, yeah, my head circumference is probably massive. And so I just like was like erring on the side of it being too small. And then it ended up being a little bit big. And so it just doesn't really fit the best. And so I do think I might unravel it, which again, it's like, oh, but it was my first knit project. Like, it's like nice to, you know, have it as a keepsake and then like see how far that I've come. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm probably not going to wear it. And yeah, if it doesn't fit great, like, what are you going to do? And so I think I might unravel it if I don't have enough, which I think this might just be not quite enough to make a full top. So I probably am going to unravel it and then stripe these together, and I think it would be really cute. So I have more of the Lion brand Coboo. This is just in the color Coal. Yeah, Coal. And I am planning on making another Summer Secret top. I've mentioned that pattern already, but I did make it once before. But it's actually, I think the pattern is written for a DK weight. I have this yarn that I really don't know what else to do with, but I think it would be nice to have that top in a simple black. And because of the cotton bamboo blend that this is, it's really, really nice for the summer. And so, yeah, I think it'd be a really fun and quick project to just like whip up. This is another contender of what I might make next. I might do this or one of those last two yarn combinations that I just mentioned for a summer top. I'm just like trying to figure out, do I have the motivation right now to like bang out another summer top to where I will have enough time to wear it enough this summer before having to put it away before it gets cold again? Or should I just start on a more wintry fall project? So anyways, we'll see. we'll see what I get to next. But yes, this will eventually be a nice summer secret crop, and it'll just be a little nice little staple to have in my closet. This is the Juniper Moon Farms Herriot, and it's in, what color is this? I think it's like asparagus or something, but it's 75% alpaca, 25% polyamide, and this is so soft. It is so nice. As I said, I like alpaca. I think it's super, super soft. This is the fine, and so it's like a very light fingering weight yarn. And so my plan is to make the My First Cable Scarf by Raspberry Orange knit. It will indeed not be my first cable scarf. I did make the French twist scarf, as I've mentioned, which did have like a little cable on the side, but it just looks really, really beautiful. And I think, as I said, because it's so soft, it just has got to be something like a scarf or something that's going to go against your skin, and I think I would hold it double. As I said, alpaca is quite warm, and so I think it makes most sense to put it in a scarf. However, this is quite a bit of yarn, so I feel like I'll have some left over, so I'll have to figure out what to do with the leftover, or maybe if you have ideas of other things to do with this, like, let me see, how much do I have? So this is 2 skeins worth. It's 200 grams. And so not really sure, but if you have ideas, definitely let me know. I know that probably a lot of people are like, make socks. I don't want to make socks. I'm so sorry. I haven't gotten there yet. I don't know if I'll ever get there, but socks are really not on my radar. So I have to figure out something else to do with my yarn. So this is an unidentified yarn, but it is really nice brown. And then this is the Estelle Yarns Eco Tweed in the color Natural, and it's got just like the tiniest little flecks of tweedy bits throughout, but it is really, really beautiful. And I think this is just a combo that's meant to be. So I think this will either be a striped triangle scarf or a striped beanie. I think that would be really cute. There's the Aura Helix beanie by Aura Knits, which is really cool. It has like a garter stitched vertical stripe for the band, and then the rest of it is horizontal stripe, which I just thought looked really cool, and it looks really fun. And so I think that would be a really great combo for that beanie. My thing right now is like, I don't know. I think right now I'm planning on just keeping my hair this length because I really like it. Also, shout out to my perm. I like just got a perm a couple weeks ago, if you can tell. So it's actually like nice and textured and like got a little bit of a curl. And he also like cut it and shaped it really nicely. Shout out to Eric Tang. He is my hairdresser. It's really hard if you are Asian and you live anywhere in the West that's not like LA or New York. You probably know it can be a little bit hard to find yourself a good hairdresser who knows how to work with your hair, especially because I wanted a perm, and not that many people can do like a good Asian perm. So anyways, I finally found him, and I'm really excited to like actually have a hairdresser that I trust here in Richmond. This was the first time I've gotten my hair cut by anyone since moving. So I'm like, dude, you better not leave ever, because you are like my hairdresser for life now. So I think, I mean, right now, like I'm loving this length. Actually, I've never really had it this length before, other than the last time I grew out my hair, but I was just fully growing it out. So I've never had it at this length for any extended period of time, but I love it. And I think I might keep this length going forward. That being said, I don't know the shape of beanie I need for my head and this haircut. You know, because like having a different haircut can really vary the fit of hat that you need. I know that sounds like a little bit specific, but it's true. I don't know what to tell you. And so especially now that I have these like little bangs, I'm like, okay, where should the beanie hit? So I think I need to do some work to really figure out what kind of beanie I would need for this current state of life. And if I am planning on keeping this haircut, then that kind of will determine what kind of beanie patterns I'm looking for. But anyways, if the Aura Helix beanie ends up being a nice shape for my head, I think this would be a nice combo for it. So we shall see if I end up doing that in the future. The other beanie I was planning is this red color. It is the Reynolds Candide. It is a worsted weight, 100% wool, and it is a little bit more on the rustic side. So again, that was another reason I picked up the Drops Kid Silk in that red color to hold it together to see if it would soften up a little bit, and it definitely did. I'm still like I did a gauge swatch, and I'm still trying to figure out whether it's going to be prickly on my forehead or not, which again is another thing. Like, do I care? Because is the beanie just going to be over my hair? And then if it's over my hair, I don't think it'll be as prickly than like if it's just on my bare forehead. Like if I grow out my hair more, then I usually just like part it in the middle and then I'll put the beanie on, so it would actually be against my skin. Whereas like if I keep this haircut, if I wear a beanie, it's not going to be directly touching my forehead as much. This is like so semantic, but it's important. So anyways, yeah, it is a little bit more like scratchy as is, so I do think I will need to hold it with a mohair. And it is just, I mean, it's really bright, which I do like, but it's a little bit orangey leaning, a little bit, you know? And so I held it with that mohair. And if you can see, the mohair is just a little bit darker and cool toned. And I think the mixture of these two colors was actually really nice. Again, I'm just trying to see if it's soft enough for a beanie and wearing it on my head for like a full day. But I would eventually like to make the weekend hat by Petite Knit. I think that would be a really cute hat silhouette for this hairstyle, just because it has like, usually I don't like the little bit of a point at the top. When I had longer hair, I felt like it looked a little weird, but actually now that I have this haircut, I think it'd be really cute to have like just a little bit of a point on the back. Yeah, much to think about, but a red beanie is something that I feel like I've been wanting in my life ever since I started knitting and getting more into color, and I think it would just be like such a cute staple to have. This is the Calborn Woolens Scout in the color black, and I'm realizing my plan for this was also going to be a beanie, but like that's a lot of beanies. So maybe I should come up with a different idea, but like that's not bad. I think maybe actually, you know what? I think the answer is this is going to be a striped triangle scarf, and then I'll have the red beanie, and then I'll have this beanie, and then that's not too many beanies. But anyways, I think I actually want to get a neon green, lime fluorescent green mohair and pair it with this. I think that would be really, really cool and make it a bit more of a statement and a bit more of like a look, I knit this myself beanie. Because just a black beanie, I think it's going to be boring to knit, and then it's also going to be a little bit boring to wear. And I do have a black beanie already, but I think with a neon bright mohair, it would look so sick, dude. It would be so cool, and it would be such a nice like little statement accessory to always just like pop on or have with you. So yeah, I would love to do that. And that's just gonna be so nice, because actually just on its own, this wool is already pretty soft and nice, and so paired with a mohair, it's just gonna be even softer. And I feel like that's gonna be such a nice beanie, regardless of whether I have the barrier of my bangs or whether it's going straight on my forehead, it will be really nice and soft to wear regardless. So yeah, I think that also might be another like weekend hat, weekend beanie. Again, depending on whether I decide I like the shape of the little point or not in the back. But I think I will. I think it'll be really cute. This is the BC Garn BioBalance in the color Natural. And this is the Valley Yarns Charlemont in the gray color. Oh, light gray is the color. This one's a 60% fine superwash merino, 20% mulberry silk, and 20% polyamide. And the BioBalance, I figure a lot of people know about this one, but it's a cotton merino blend or cotton wool blend. But both of these are so nice and soft, and I do think the combination is also really pretty. So my plan is to make the Brooklyn backless top made by Roche, and I'm going to do a color work chart. I'm not sure exactly what the chart is going to be yet, but I think this will be a really good combo for that because of the like wool and cotton / silk combo. It'll be really nice for a summery top. It won't be too hot, but it also, with the wool content, will have just a little bit of elasticity because that pattern looks like it'll probably have some negative ease because it really has to hug your body like perfectly. So I think the little bit of wool content in both of these will be really perfect for that kind of pattern. So I'm thinking the gray as the primary color and then the white for the color work. And if you can tell, I love like a rectangle with a design in it. So it'll probably be that. So it should eat up a good amount of both yarns. I think this would be a relatively quick project, especially because it's like essentially like half of a shirt, you know, like you're just doing the front side. So I don't think it would take too long. So I was thinking about casting this on for this summer, but again, I'm just doing like a lot of back and forth knitting and purling right now. I just finished that one for my partner, and I have a cardigan number 9 cast on right now. So with all of the cardigans, a lot of going back and forth. And so I think I will save this to maybe next summer. And so we'll get to that when we get to it. Okay, I think this is my last skein. This is the Cloudborn Fibers Wool Bulky Natural in the color Night Skies. It is this really beautiful grayish, charcoalish. It leans a little bit cool toned, and yeah, it's just gorgeous. And I would love to make the balaclava number 2 by My Favorite Things. So it's got an all over cable pattern, and I think it would be so gorgeous. And I would love to pair it with a mohair of like an icy blue mohair. I think it would be so nice and so like perfect for, you know, a winter headpiece. I did get the Drops Melody to see if I liked the color, and also to see if I like the yarn, which I do really like. Like, it's super soft. It's just thicker than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was like more of a mohair kind of alternative, but it's actually a bit more bulky than I thought. Is really beautiful, and I know that they have this same color. This is the Morning Mist color, and I think they have the same colorway for the brushed alpaca, which I think would be a really good combination with this. Just that like icy blue halo would be really pretty, especially for a balaclava like that. And actually, going back to like the Sophie hood that I had crocheted, another reason I do kind of want to unravel that is just like, I love it. It's super warm, but also, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like always about like 2 to 5 minutes for most things. I'm trying to work on it, but it's that thing where like you're rushing out in the morning and then you put on this thing and then you have to like wrap it around yourself multiple times and then tie a thing in the front and then you can head out. And I've got like 4 bags on me as I go to work or school or whatever it is. And so having that piece made me realize that I would rather just have a balaclava instead. And so another reason why I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna probably unravel that and make it into something else. And then I've got the balaclava on the docket, so that is something that you can just like throw on, right? You just put it on, you just throw it on. You don't have to tie anything, you don't have to wrap anything, and I like that about a balaclava. So yes, that is my goal for this. Again, I'll probably get the drops alpaca, brush alpaca instead of the melody, but this is the colorway that I want to do as a combo, and I think it will be so beautiful. And just like, I love the kind of wintry feel of this combo. Okay, well that is everything in my stash right now. Other than that, I just have a couple of like random skeins of leftover scraps, which I'm not super worried about right now. I'm gonna get to those when I get to them, when I have more of a scrap buildup, so I can actually come up with maybe some color combinations that are more interesting, unexpected, or I'll get creative with my scraps as my scrap collection actually grows a little bit more. But yeah, those are all of my plans so far. If you have any pattern suggestions or anything like that for any of these yarns, or if you've knit with any of these yarns, I would love to know your experience. If you have mohair recommendations, let me know, because I'm hesitant on the drops kid silk, so let me know your favorite mohairs. Let me know if you've knit a garment out of the Wool Ease Roving Origins or anything similar like the Let Loopy or anything like that. I would love to know your experience and any tips and tricks. I've done a lot of Googling. I've watched a couple YouTube videos of other people using those yarns, but I feel like there is not the wealth of information that I would love to have on knitting with those yarns for things that are not felted. So again, if you have made anything non-felted or garments with those yarns, let me know, and let me know how that experience went for you. Other than that, thanks for watching and sticking around for this video and sticking around for my stash. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!